I used to put in 70-hour work weeks, thinking if I just worked harder than everyone else, I'd get that promotion. 5 years later, I was still in the same position while watching less qualified colleagues climb the ladder. That painful realization showed me I was playing the game all wrong. Have you ever wondered if traditional career advice actually works anymore? In today's video, I'm going to show you why the work harder mentality might be holding you back from the success you deserve. We'll explore the historical roots of this myth, why it fails in today's economy, and the strategies that actually move careers forward when grinding more hours simply doesn't. 1. The Industrial Revolution's ghost. How we inherited the work harder myth. Ever wonder why we're so obsessed with working harder when it often doesn't pay off? The answer lies buried in our collective past, specifically the Industrial Revolution. This period fundamentally changed how we work and how we think about work itself. Before factories and assembly lines became commonplace, most people worked in agriculture or as skilled artisans. Your work had natural rhythms. Farmers followed the seasons, and craftspeople completed projects at their own pace. When machines transformed production in the 1800s, a new equation emerged. Time directly equaled output. Factory owners installed time clocks and standardized shifts, creating a system where a worker producing 100 widgets in 8 hours could produce 125 in 10 hours. A simple, linear relationship. This factory model persists in our thinking today, even though our work has completely transformed. In the knowledge economy, creativity functions more like a rechargeable battery than a conveyor belt. Your brain generates brilliant solutions during breaks and downtime, not through continuous operation. The factory mindset gained strength through the Protestant work ethic, which framed labor as virtuous, and the American dream narrative, promising social mobility through effort. By 1920, the average manufacturing worker clocked 51 hours weekly, a schedule that shaped generations of work beliefs. I absorbed these lessons without questioning. During college, I worked 3 part-time jobs while maintaining a full course load. Watching classmates taking breaks while I picked up extra shifts, I felt virtuous about my superior work ethic. I was programming myself with inherited work beliefs, ideas passed down through generation that we accept without scrutiny. Think about the messages you received growing up. Maybe you heard nothing worth having comes easy, or hard work is its own reward. These sound like timeless wisdom, but actually emerged from specific economic conditions that may no longer apply. The information age revealed the first major crack in this system. Suddenly, value came from quality insights rather than hours logged. Companies like Microsoft demonstrated that innovation creates more wealth than mere production volume. Yet our work cultures remain anchored to industrial-era thinking. Is the work hard, get ahead promise a lie? Not entirely, but it's an incomplete equation. Hard work matters, but the type of work and its strategic direction often matter more than raw hours invested. 2. The meritocracy illusion. When hard work goes unrewarded. The gap between effort and reward grows wider when we examine how advancement really happens in modern organizations. Picture this. 2 employees with identical skills. One heads down working diligently on projects, the other strategically visible to leadership. The second person typically gets promoted faster, revealing why the meritocracy we've been sold might be the greatest workplace fiction of our time. Meritocracy is the comforting belief that hard work and talent lead to fair recognition and rewards. It's a nice story that helps us make sense of workplace hierarchies, but research increasingly shows it's more myth than reality. A 2019 MIT study found that cultural fit and leadership potential matter more for advancement than objective performance metrics. This directly connects to Sarah, a software developer I interviewed who worked 50-plus-hour weeks for 3 years on challenging projects. "I thought my work would speak for itself," she told me. I was wrong. She watched as colleagues who built relationships with managers received promotions instead. Imagine a workplace balance scale. On one side sits your actual work output. On the other, your visibility to decision makers. In most organizations, that scale tips heavily toward visibility. I felt a profound sense of disillusionment when I first realized this truth after being passed over despite excellent performance. This happens because of evaluation bias. Managers rely heavily on what they can easily recall about employees, which tends to be recent interactions rather than consistent behind-the-scenes work. Companies unintentionally reinforce this through promotion processes that prioritize articulation of achievements over the achievements themselves. Then there's the performance paradox. Focusing exclusively on measurable output can actually decrease advancement opportunities. By becoming hyper-focused on immediate responsibilities, you miss strategic work that positions you for growth. I fell into this trap early in my career, staying late completing reports while missing higher visibility projects. The meritocracy illusion affects some groups more severely. Research found that women and minorities often need more evidence of competence for the same recognition. A 2020 study revealed women are 21% less likely to receive credit for ideas in group settings. Why do many hardworking people struggle financially? Modern workplaces reward perceived value creation, not just effort. Your contribution must be recognized, attributed to you, and aligned with organizational priorities to translate into advancement. 3. The visibility factor. Why your boss promotes the person down the hall. Perceived value only matters when the right people perceive it. Think about the last major project you completed with minimal recognition. Was it truly unappreciated or simply unseen by decision makers? The painful truth is that in most workplaces, your brilliance in the shadows might as well not exist at all. Let me introduce you to a concept I call visibility capital, the currency of being seen doing valuable work. Think of it as a professional bank account where small, consistent deposits of self-promotion build interest over time. This isn't about shallow bragging, but understanding that your work and how it's perceived are entirely different things in the modern workplace. Consider the tale of two employees at the same tech company. Jamie spent 12-hour days buried in code, solving critical infrastructure problems and preventing system failures. Meanwhile, Taylor worked a consistent 40-hour week, but documented his achievements, shared updates in meetings, and mentioned key milestones to leadership. When promotion time came, Taylor advanced while Jamie remained in place, leaving her confused and resentful. What happened? Jamie believed good work speaks for itself. It doesn't. Proximity to decision makers dramatically impacts recognition. A Harvard Business Review study found employees working physically closer to managers are perceived as higher performers, regardless of actual output. In remote environments, this dynamic transforms into digital visibility challenges. The playing field changes, but the rules remain. Those who effectively communicate through digital channels maintain their visibility, while quiet contributors risk becoming organizational ghosts. I learned this lesson personally. For months, I worked overtime on a customer retention project with minimal acknowledgement. Then, during a brief elevator ride, I mentioned some metrics to a VP. That 30-second conversation generated more positive feedback than all my previous silent effort combined. Research shows credit attribution correlates more with communication patterns than actual contribution levels. Your boss is promoting people who seem to work less because they've mastered strategic visibility without sacrificing quality. They understand that being good at your job is the entry ticket. Being seen as good is what gets you upgraded to first class. 4. Strategic positioning. Playing chess. While others play checkers. Strategic positioning is like playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. It's about understanding the entire board and planning several moves ahead, rather than simply moving forward one square at a time. While visibility might get you noticed, your strategic positioning determines your ultimate trajectory. I used to believe advancement meant completing every task perfectly and hoping someone would notice. That approach left me exhausted and overlooked until I realized something crucial. Where you position yourself within an organization matters far more than how hard you work in that position. Strategic positioning resembles planting seeds in fertile soil rather than constantly harvesting in depleted ground. The task-oriented worker diligently completes assignments, meets deadlines, and checks boxes. The strategically positioned professional carefully selects projects based on who they'll work with, what skills they'll develop, and how visible the outcomes will be. My career turning point came when I was offered a high-profile marketing campaign. Instead of accepting what seemed like an obvious opportunity, I evaluated the long-term positioning benefits and chose a less prestigious project working directly with key stakeholders from several departments. Within 6 months, this strategic choice connected me with decision-makers across the company and positioned me perfectly for an unexpected leadership role. This concept of career adjacency places you near emerging opportunities rather than in areas with limited growth potential. Research from the Korn Ferry Institute shows that professionals who make strategic lateral moves earn 21% more over their lifetime than those pursuing only vertical advancement. Understanding the distinction between busy work and leverage work transformed my approach. Busy work fills your day with necessary tasks that don't significantly impact your trajectory. Leverage work creates ripple effects that continue working for you long after completion. Creating a process improvement that affects multiple teams generates more visibility than repeatedly executing an existing process. Consider Emma, a financial analyst who transferred to a struggling product division instead of staying in her successful department. When the company pivoted to focus on that product line, Emma, already positioned as an expert in that division's finances, was promoted to lead the entire financial team, surpassing peers in supposedly safer positions. Strategic positioning places you where opportunity and recognition naturally flow toward you, rather than forcing you to chase after them. 5. The relationship economy. Building networks that work for you. Strategic positioning may open doors, but your professional network determines which doors swing open first. In today's economy, who you know often accelerates your career more than those extra hours at your desk. It's not that hard work doesn't matter. It's that relationships act as multipliers for every effort you invest. Let's talk about social capital, the tangible value created through your professional relationships. Unlike your retirement account, this capital grows through genuine connections rather than deposits. What makes this concept powerful is how it generates opportunities that no amount of overtime can produce. Traditional networking often feels forced. What works instead is relationship investing, building authentic connections with strategic intention over time. Take Maria, a mid-level marketing manager I interviewed. When her company announced a new division focusing on sustainability marketing, she was immediately tapped to lead it, not because she worked harder than colleagues, but because 6 months earlier, she had built relationships with the sustainability team through coffee chats. During these conversations, she'd ask, "What challenges are you facing in communicating your initiatives?" When opportunity knocked, her name was already on people's lips. Research from Stanford sociologist Mark Granovskian shows something counterintuitive. Approximately 80% of new job opportunities come through weak ties, casual acquaintances and second-degree connections, rather than close colleagues. These loose connections act as bridges between different social networks, exposing you to information and opportunities that don't circulate in your immediate circle. You don't need to be an extrovert to build effective relationships. My personal framework focuses on consistency rather than intensity. I schedule just one relationship-building activity each week, sometimes as simple as sending an article to a former colleague with a thoughtful note. My perspective on networking transformed when I stopped asking, "What can this person do for me?" and started asking, "What unique value can we create together?" This simple reframing turned networking from an obligation into an energizing exchange. Different relationship types serve different purposes. Mentors provide wisdom when you're developing. Peers offer collaboration during challenges. Sponsors, often overlooked, actively advocate for your advancement when you're not in the room. The key is recognizing which relationships need investment at each career stage. 6. The new rules. Rewriting your work. Mindset for real success. The hidden mental scripts running in the background of your mind might be sabotaging your career more than any external factor. While we've explored the importance of strategic positioning and relationships, it's time to address something even more fundamental: the operating system behind all your career decisions. Your work mindset itself. Let me introduce you to work mindset reframing, the conscious practice of replacing outdated beliefs with strategies that work in today's economy. Think of it as upgrading your mental operating system for the modern workplace, replacing buggy old software with powerful new capabilities. For decades, we've glorified sacrifice for success, skipping vacations, missing family dinners, sacrificing health. Modern professionals are discovering that strategic approaches preserve well-being while accelerating career progress. The first essential mindset shift transform, show you measure your worth, moving from hours worked to value created. I used to track my workday in 15-minute increments. Now I ask, did I solve the right problem today? Or did my work create lasting impact? When I catch myself slipping back into old work harder patterns, I pause and ask, is this additional effort creating proportional value? This mental checkpoint redirects energy towards strategic actions. Imagine transforming your career path into one of strategic mastery. This second shift reframes advancement as a strategic game rather than a moral test. Harvard Business School research found professionals who viewed careers strategically reported 34% higher job satisfaction and advanced 28% faster than those focused primarily on effort. Consider Miguel, an accounting manager who worked 60-hour weeks for years. After shifting his approach, he allocated just 5 hours weekly to cross-departmental projects. Within 8 months, he was promoted while working fewer total hours. The third mindset shift recognizes that balance fuels success. Research shows professionals who prioritize recovery demonstrated 23% higher productivity and received 27% better performance ratings than chronically overworked peers. Lauren, a marketing director, transformed her career by focusing on high-leverage projects while setting clear boundaries. Her team's results improved, and she was tapped for leadership specifically because of her sustainable performance model. Watch for 3 warning signs that hard work is holding you back: diminishing returns, strategic blindness, and relationship neglect. These signal it's time to upgrade your approach. So we've come full circle on redefining success beyond grinding. The true challenge isn't summoning more willpower. It's finding the courage to work differently when everyone else is stuck in the hustle mentality. Think of your career energy as an investment portfolio. Like diversifying financial assets, allocate your efforts strategically across skill development, relationship building, and creating visibility for your work. Success requires this fundamental shift. Direct your energy precisely where it matters most. When aligned, success flows naturally without sacrificing well-being. What small change will you make tomorrow to work more strategically? Share your experience in the comments, and remember, your well-being and success grow together with intentional effort. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching this video. Thanks for watching.